What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a guide for the Lawless Frontier. Specifically, this is for the kind of loot and faction system in Tharsis Outpost and how to actually progress those factions, complete priority contracts and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're wondering what on earth is going on here, hopefully this video will help out a little bit. I actually had to work through some confusion of my own in the initial stages of getting into the factions right here. As always, if you guys enjoy the video, a rating below really does help us out on the channel. But now let's get into it. After the main campaign, we do actually get given a quest which kind of introduces us to the Lawless Frontier and the factions specifically. As part of that quest, we'll have to complete a priority contract. This is the part that sort of confused me as I wasn't making any progress with it. As you can see here, my contract is with Tharsis Reformation, so that's the faction I'm currently aligned with. And you have to complete an exfil from a contested job in Totality Division or Piker territory. So for contested jobs, you have to head to the red icon on the map, and those are the featured contested jobs for the day, I suppose. My contract's telling me I need to be in Totality Division or Piker territory, and the way to figure out which activity you actually have to play is to use the key on the bottom right of the map. So we can see the icons for each of the factions. And so if you pick an icon that matches one of the factions you actually need to fight against, that's the node that you need to boot up in order to progress these contracts. The weird thing is that the blue text on these activities actually appears to be wrong. So the one you can see on screen says it's controlled by Totality Division. So naturally I was running that one thinking it would count, but it doesn't because it's controlled by Tharsis Reformation, which is what is indicated by the icons. So if you do get stuck on that intro quest or with contracts in general, basically use the icons on the activity nodes and the key on the bottom right of the map and ignore that blue text as it seems to just be incorrect. In order to get these contracts though, of course we actually have to align with a faction. We do this in the Tharsis Outpost. There are the 3 enemy factions. Like I said, I'm aligned with the Vex here, which is Tharsis Reformation. And while I have that alignment, the priority contracts will actually give me big chunks of reputation for that specific faction. The rewards themselves are fairly self-explanatory, so as you go through the reputation rewards, you can see it lists what it will unlock at each of the ranks. This also impacts different rewards that you can pick up in that faction's room. So for instance, blade upgrades for the Praxic blade, and you'll find the same thing in each of the faction rooms basically. And each reward around the room will also list what reputation rank you actually have to be in order to pick it up. So completing priority contracts in particular, but any contract for a certain faction, will allow us to make rank progress with them. You'll also find that you might be aligned with a certain faction, but you'll get low priority contracts for other factions. If you complete those, you can still earn reputation for the other factions in the outpost. So you don't always have to align in order to actually earn reputation for each faction, but it does impact which priority contracts you will get and what factions they will progress. There are also a bunch of Praxic blade upgrades of various different types, which are earned through the factions and through the Lawless Frontier in general. Those are reasonably self-explanatory because they're actually listed on the Praxic blade. When looking at some of the Praxic blade crystals though, you'll see they can be acquired through Lawless Frontier jobs on different destinations. I guess time will tell exactly where those are inside of the Lawless Frontier. There's another component though, where we can get these key cards dropped. That's after we hit rank 2, I believe, on the factions. And they'll drop at the end of activity completions on Lawless Frontier and randomly from chests, which can then be used to open up kind of hidden areas on specific maps. Me and my friend Duddits opened one, and it didn't have any Praxic blade upgrades, but a bunch of additional loot for the Lawless Frontier in general, so worth looking out for those. The other component that factions actually have are Renegade abilities. So there's a set of Renegades abilities that each faction actually has, which are unique to them. Additionally, in Tharsis Outpost, there are abilities that are unique to the Spider, so we can slowly upgrade those bit by bit. But of course, one of the key currencies, I guess, are the dark matter ingots that we earn inside of priority contracts and the Lawless Frontier, and we can dump these into the war chest next to the faction vendors in Tharsis Outpost to help level them up quicker. Other currencies include things like credits, so one of the more basic currencies which can be used to purchase goods from merchants in Tharsis Bazaar. That includes all of the factions and other merchants that we find around the bazaar that can sell random weapons, armor pieces, and upgrades. Keep in mind as well, you will occasionally get invasion-based contracts, so as far as I can tell, these aren't aligned specifically with any faction, but they will progress your currently aligned faction, as well as give Lawless Frontier gear and death marks, which is another currency, and we can actually wager additional death marks before we invade to improve the reward payout on successful invasions. And for instance, one of the RNG rewards for invasions, once you've completed the Praxic Path quest after earning the lightsaber, is that you could earn the red crystal for the lightsaber from invading. Now, in terms of gear tiers, as far as I understand it right now, it looks like earning tier 5 gear, for instance, is kind of tied to the activity difficulty that you're running. So if you're running Grandmaster Lawless Frontier jobs, you'll mostly see tier 4 gear, but you will get the occasional tier 5. If you run Ultimate Lawless Frontier jobs, it seems like tier 5 loot drops a little bit more frequently, although there is still actually RNG involved in it. As we can see at Spider though, there is a gear tier upgrade which is available once you max out the rank on any faction. So obviously for most of us, it will take a little while longer, but ultimately we're going to get fairly consistent tier 5 gear in the near future. I would assume that the high priority contract and higher rank faction payouts will also more frequently give tier 5 gear, but otherwise factions don't seem to play into the tiering system heavily in terms of the quality of drops. So that's kind of how it works. There's a lot of menus and different sources for rewards in this update, but the main things to know are that you need to align to a particular faction to most effectively rank them up. And then all of the different job types are visible on the holo map, and the tab on the left hand side will show your contracts, with priority contracts being at the top. But you can also tab over to your wallet, which shows you how much of each of the currencies you have for the Lawless Frontier as well. That also means that because we earn tiered loot based on the difficulty of the activity with a bit of RNG involved, factions ultimately are a way of improving the consistency of reward payouts to earn Renegade's abilities, to earn Praxic blade upgrades and unique items like the shaders they have featured on them, while the activity difficulty and general performance in the activities is more likely to affect the reward tiers that you get. And that's basically how it works. A bit complex at first, or at least there's a lot of stuff going on visually in terms of all the menus, all the different instructions, the map, the outpost. But in the end, it's much more basic than it first appears. Just remember that whole tricky thing about the contested territories and which factions are actually featured in them. Use the icons, not the blue text, and you should be good. There we go. Let us know how you're getting on with Renegades down below. I hope this video has helped out. If it has, a rating really does help me out on the channel. Say something vexy for the algorithm if you feel like it as well. That would be very much appreciated. Otherwise though, thanks for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.